Welcome to HumanWare Live.
Hello, everybody. We seem to get more official every week. Thanks to Mr. Andrew, we have a nice intro that we're going to see what we can do with that, which is pretty awesome. This is Peter Tusick, Brand Ambassador of Blindness Products for HumanWare, and I am joined by Mr.
Andrew Flatterus, here with the sunny UK. Hello, everyone.
Oh, we are glad to be here. I am going to quickly take over screen share, and what I'll do, I'm going to share my screen. But what we're going to do today with HumanWare Live is we are going to talk about how we get into a Zoom meeting. I'm going to show you two ways to do that. We're then going to throw it over to Andrew, who's going to talk about the just announced HumanWare Buddy application that we teased last Thursday. And then we are going to come back to me, and I'm going to float us through how to attach an assignment, a keyword assignment, or a keyword document into Google Classroom. And then I'm going to show a couple of tips and tricks for navigating Google Drive. Then we are going to have a poll because we are all about audience participation. So we will have a poll determining what you'd like to see next week on HumanWare Live. This Thursday, we are going to be doing Chrome, and we are going to be doing navigating kind of web pages, selecting text, and then working with formatting documents, just so you're aware. Just a reminder, these are going to come to you every Tuesday and Thursday at noon Eastern Time here in the United States. HumanWare Live also has an email address, which is humanwarelive@humanware.com. You can feel free to send suggestions to that address. This will also be archived, will be available under the support section of our website, as well as on our Facebook feed, and also the audio portion will be on the Victor Reader Stream Information podcast feed as well. So lots of ways to refer to this after the fact. Now, what I will do is I am going to start my screen share. So let me get this going. And we're going to share my sound. And now Andrew is going to make sure that my sound is actually indeed coming through, because last week I did a whole 25, 30 minutes of this without actually having any audio for anyone out there to hear. So I just had the visual. I could hear it, but you guys could not. So I should have started it.
There we go.
Connect. All right. Connect. You got me, Andy?
It's all good.
All right. Now I'm going to mute my speech. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about a couple of ways for us to get into a Zoom meeting. So when you're working with your users, or you might be a teacher, or you might have received a meeting invite from someone, the first way I'll show you is how to quickly get in there via Keymail. And that will be to just click on a meeting link. So I'm on my main menu. I'm going to move to email by pressing E.
Email, Keymail.
All right. And I'm going to get some choppiness here, but we're going to see if that'll dissipate. I'm going to press enter on email, and I should be brought into, I received a meeting invite this morning.
Keymail, HTTP.
All right. Now, what happens is I'm in an email message. And at this point, what I can do is, if you are outside of the web view of your message, you can always, so for instance, if I'm up here at the top,
8:56
and I'm
a.m.
seeing the time of day, and I'm seeing who the message was from, I'm able to press my next and my right thumb key to enter the web view of the message. So again, right being the inner right thumb key, and next being the thumb key all the way to the right across the front of your BrailleNote Touch, and you will hear it say web view.
Web view.
Now, this is very important because when we're in an email message, we can bring up the web view, which means we can use web navigation. This will directly tie into what we're doing on Thursday. But when we're looking at a web view, we can quickly move to links or headings or buttons and so on. I know when I received this meeting invite that it says Peter Tusick is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting, and then there's a link to join the meeting. So I can press the letter L now that I'm in the web view, I'm in the email message.
https://
And I'm gonna press backspace with enter to mute my speech, but we're going to hear the link spoken, and I'm gonna press enter.
Open with Zoom.
And I get a prompt that says open with Zoom, or again, use a different app. So if this was my first time, or if I've opened a link using Chrome or something else, remember, we don't want to say always. We're always looking to do just once, because if we say always on these prompts, we will then have to go and undo our defaults. So if you have chosen to always open links in Chrome, for instance, this wouldn't be an option. You would just be brought right to Chrome and have to do it the web way. What's nice about doing it this way is I can open this link directly in Zoom. So I'm going to press my previous thumb key and come up to just once.
Always just once.
And I'm going to press enter on just once.
Zoom.
And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up my Zoom meeting here in Zoom. And now, of course, I lost my screen share because I just jumped into my Zoom meeting. So again, I can't share both. Now, I want to see if I can reconnect here and actually show you how to jump into a meeting by just entering a meeting ID. So I am going to rejoin my share session. So give me one moment while I reconnect to my computer. So again, what the key there is, when you go into that web message, it's a matter of, I'm going to stop screen share here, the matter of being able to quickly and efficiently access that link. So Andrew, I'm coming back in, give me a second, and then I'll reshare my screen as soon as it's back up, and I'll show you to enter a meeting manually.
In fact, Peter, everyone actually was able to see your screen there.
Oh, was I still in? Because it cut me out.
Yeah.
Oh, well then why don't I just reshare? Hold on. Because if I am still there, that's good. Let me jump back in. Because it threw my speech out, Andy. That's the reason why. I don't know, because it connect basically doesn't work simultaneously, which is fine. All right, you should hear me again. I'm going to mute my speech. Okay, so the other piece here is when I'm in a meeting, so I'm going to come down here to Zoom. When I'm in a meeting, what I can do, I can choose to connect to audio if I want to. I can also have the option to share, and this is where you are able to share your screen to the actual Zoom meeting. So if I press enter here on share, so again, I'm in the meeting and I press enter on share, it's going to ask, what do I want to share? And I would come down here to the screen option using my next thumb key, and I would then be able to share my entire screen. I'm not going to do this because then I will lose my screen share here, because it'll be sharing it to the simultaneous Zoom meeting that I have going on. But you are able to share the entire screen of your BrailleNote Touch into your BrailleNote Touch Plus into this meeting. Remember, this will not work on a Touch. This is specific to the Touch Plus. The other way I can join a meeting, I'm going to come out of here, and I'm actually going to leave this meeting, and I'm going to come back in, and let me get out. All right. So what I want to do is show you how to come into a meeting. I'm going to close this app and show you how to come into one, not from email, but just by entering the actual app itself. So we're going to dismiss Zoom here. And this time I'm going to be on the main menu. And I'm going to come to Zoom. And again, I don't have speech right now because it's cut off and I didn't relaunch it. So I'm on the main menu. I'm coming to all applications. Once I'm in all apps, I'm going to come down to Zoom. And when I'm on Zoom, when I press enter, what will happen is it's going to give me the option. Again, this is as though I'm not in a meeting, right? I didn't click that link directly, but I do have an option to join here. So let me come back. I need to end it. You know what? Let's get out of here. All right. So when I launch Zoom for the first time, again, if my teacher has started a meeting, so if you've started a meeting and you didn't want to email your student, your student could come in here into Zoom and come to the join a meeting button, press enter, and now they will be asked for the meeting ID. This has to be entered using computer braille. So again, you're going to drop those numbers and not use a number sign for US computer braille, that is, and I'm going to come in and enter my meeting ID. So I will put it in here. So 275 150 485. And I'm going to press my next thumb key, and I will come down to where I can join with a personal link name. Again, if I was signed in, my name is here as Peter. You can change that, and I can press enter on join meeting. And again, then I can jump in this way as well. So a couple of ways to jump directly into a meeting. There are options here to call in. I have my audio muted because I don't want things to start feeding back. You can talk to your student via this. You can turn their back-facing camera on if you want to do some you know, looking at what they're doing. If they wanted to flip their camera around or show you a document, that could happen as well. So again, just 2 quick ways to get in and actually join a Zoom meeting. Now, I am going to stop sharing, but when I reshare again in a moment, my speech will be back, and I'll make sure of that. So Andrew, take it away, my friend.
Good stuff. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have a big surprise. And the surprise is we're actually launching today a new application that's been designed for TBIs, students, parents, and anyone that uses any of HumanWare products. An application so that you have a better training, resources, materials, and a better experience overall on using our products. It's called the HumanWare Buddy App, or shortened for HW Buddy App. So if you can, after this session, it's available on the iOS store, will be available on the Play Store on the Android devices in due course. We're just waiting for that to be approved, but it's out now on the iOS App Store. If you search for HumanWare Buddy App or HW Buddy App, you'll be able to download it free of charge. It really does provide all of the comprehensive training and resource materials all in that one place, and you'll be able to achieve goals that you thought you could never do. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to team view a session on my iPhone. Let's see if the technology is going to work on us. Bear with me one moment. You still there, Peter?
Yeah, this is definitely the part of the program where I would normally jump in and vamp for you, but I was trying to restart stuff on my end as well. So the beauties of doing these Zoom webinars, especially when we're trying to throw screens back and forth, sometimes things get a little funky. The nice thing about the app, I had talked about it last week, and Andrew and I both had teased it, is that we want it to be a resource for you to look at anything HumanWare, whether that is low vision, blindness, Victor Reader Trek. The resources are there. It is fully, you know, voiceover accessible. We found a couple of little bugs that we need to address. You will come across on occasion words that seem to be connected as though they're all one word using voiceover, which I've noticed. And if that happens, let us know which document and we can get it fixed. So we will definitely let that, you know, kind of fix that as we go. But the beauty of it is you are able to come in and actually favorite things. You can mark things as completed. I am often asked for a checklist or a skills checklist for students or for just users who say, I want to know what else I can do on my BrailleNote Touch Plus. This will give you everything you can do on your BrailleNote Touch Plus in terms of Keysoft, and even briefly kind of getting into the connected sort of apps world as well. So that would be something where we would, you know, we want to encourage everyone to float through it, to look at the different sections, take it and dissect it, go app by app. If you're starting with your younger users, you're definitely going to want to start just in the word processor. If you're wanting to know more about other parts of what Keysoft can do, then you're certainly going to want to come in and dive into something different like Chrome or Easy Reader Plus and so on. It will be all text-based. There are also ways to watch our videos on that app, including, you know, any of our webinars that we do. Everything is there. So we want it to be a way for you to get all of our resources in one place. And I know that sometimes that can be an issue. How you doing, Andy?
I think I'm up and running.
Rock and roll, man. So Andrew thinks he's up and running. I'm going to try to get myself up and running for once he's done, so that I can come back in. And like I said, we'll go into Classroom briefly, and then we'll look at Google Drive. Then we will take our poll, and then we will have some questions. And I want to remind, when it is time for questions, Alt-Y will raise your hand on the Windows side of things. Command-Y will raise your hand on the Mac side of things. There is a raised hand button on the iPhone app as well. And if you're on a phone, you would press *9 if you're dialing in from somewhere.
Okay, right. So this is the HumanWare Buddy application. Hopefully you can actually all see this, the screen I got shared. So it's split into 6 categories, and we'll go through each one really briefly. It's a really simple user interface. So the first one is the how-to guide. So once you've signed in, you'll need to register first of all, so username and password, and once you've signed in, then you can sign in for good. You don't need to keep putting in your password. In the how-to guides, it then gets broken down by product category. So from the top of the list, we have BrailleNote Touch, to Braille displays, to reveals, to low vision products, to stream, treks, and embossers. And you get to choose whichever product that you're using or you're supporting for your students. So I'm going to use the BrailleNote Touch Plus. And next then, on the BrailleNote Touch, there's 2 levels. Because there's so much capabilities on the BrailleNote Touch Plus, you can actually do several things. We needed to break it down in several other categories. So again, we have keyword, anything related to the word processor. This is where we'll go to. Keymail, if you want to know how to send an email, write an email. So I'm going to go into the word processor, and I want to know how to open a document. So I'm going to go to the word processor. And again, there's a long list of guides, useful guides on tasks that I can do within the keyword. So there's things from formatting your document, using tabs in keyword, to fonts, all the things that, you know, perhaps are not on your mind, but these are the things that you could set aside some tasks for your students to do. So I'm going to click on Open an Existing Document. And upon pressing that, I then have displayed a document giving me step-by-step guides on how to open an existing document. Okay, so it consists of 2 pages. Now, whilst you're in this document, I then have some further options, further buttons. Top right of the screen, I have a favorites button. Now, this is very, very useful if you perhaps haven't got the time to read it just yet, but you want to put it into your favorite categories. And then on the left of that, you have another checkbox or another tick box, which is mark as complete. And this again is very useful if you or your student has accomplished this task. So you no longer need to refer to this document. So all you do is just simple press. I'm going to press the documents removed from my favorites. So I already had that as my favorite, so I'll put it back in. There we go, document added to favorite. And I'm going to leave the mark as complete off for now. So I'm going to go back. Let's have a check on another document. Let's go on the BrailleNote Touch again, and maybe let's go into Chrome. And I want to know how to navigating web pages. Okay, again, opens up step-by-step guides on how to achieve this certain task. Again, I have my favorites tab, and I have my mark as complete tab. And I'm going to put that as my favorite again. Document added to favorite. Okay, now at the bottom, I'm going to go to my dash. So I'll go back to my home screen. Now to the right of my how-to guides is my favorite tab. Into my favorites will list all of my guides that I have enabled as favorites. So here we have navigating web pages and open an existing document. They're all there ready for me to refer to when I have the time to read them. And if you're then completing them, you could then mark them as complete. So I've opened up the guide again, and I'm going to tick on the mark as complete button, document mark as complete. And when I go back, I now will have a tick mark next to my guide navigating web pages. So that indicates to me that it's completed. I've accomplished that task, and I no longer need to refer to that if I don't need to. So that's your favorites options. The next then is your news. And this is simply just staying in touch with HumanWare. You know, keep up to date with what's happening with the HumanWare family. If I go onto the news, it just directs you into the HumanWare web page, the news page, which it may not open at the moment because I'm team viewing session and I'm using so much bandwidth at the moment. So I'm going to go back, but that will open it. That will open up the HumanWare's new news webpage. To the right of that is the support tab. So HumanWare is only a click away. So if you can't find what you're looking for within this app and you're still having difficulties, you can contact the technical support team. And there's the list of all of our regions from Europe to Australia to USA. And you have two icons next to the relevant region. You have the telephone button to call, and you have the email to directly email the support team straight away. So we understand that, you know, especially as TVIs, you haven't got enough time in the day to learn all these products. So this application is really specifically designed for you to really engage with the student and achieve some tasks on the device. Then we have two more to go. We have a search button. Now the search tab will let you search all throughout our products. So if, for example, I'm going to type email, I want to know something about email, it's not going to restrict me just to the BrailleNote. That could be using the Connect, it could be using other things that we have guides for. So as I typed in email, there's several guides that it's gave me as a result. The more that you put into this keywords, then the more refined you'll better result you'll get. So for documents, for example, open documents, perhaps maybe give me something better. Right, okay, maybe just documents. Okay, again, I've got some other information there, read and capture documents. So this is referring to the Prodigy Connect, basic editing of documents, that's the Touch Plus. So again, you can search for certain tasks that you need to achieve. And then lastly is the videos tab. And this will directly take you to the HumanWare YouTube channel, where all of our recorded webinars will be, and all of our snapshot audio tutorials will be, and video tutorials. Again, you're just accessing the YouTube channel here. You can go to your videos tab and several different guides that you can access there. And that's it. That is the HumanWare Buddy app. I'm really looking forward to some of the feedback. This has been a long waited for application. And as Peter was saying, that people that we have shown are absolutely excited about this app. So please enjoy and share this information. It's the perfect time now to really learn the products for sure, and find out what you probably couldn't do on the Touch or any of our products. So I'm going to pass it back over to you, Peter.
Hey, all right. So we are very hopeful. Please provide feedback, you know, via whatever means necessary, whether that's to support, whether that's to, you know, support at humanware.com through the actual Apple feedback mechanism. The more feedback we get, the better it can be. And remember, it is a living, breathing thing. So it will live and breathe. It can evolve, and it will evolve as we go forward. What I am going to do is I am going to grab screen control and mute my speech so everyone doesn't hear all this stuff coming through. Yes, I want to continue. I'm going to say screen. We're going to check the sound.
I'm just going to quickly answer a chat here. So just the just to be clear, the application
Go for it, Andy.
is available on the iOS So if you've got an iOS, maybe an iPhone, an iPad, you can currently download that and install it. It's not available on Android devices. So for the BrailleNote Touch, if you want to download that app, it's not available on the Play Store, but it soon will be available. So if you do want to download it on your Touch Plus or Touch, it will be available soon. We're just waiting for Google to approve that.
Google has to give the golden okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, I've retaken over control, and you should hear my speech. Let's see.
Speech on.
You hear that, Andrew?
Yes, we do.
Oh man, things are just smoothly sailing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to come in at this point and talk. We're going to shift gears and look at Google Classroom. One of the things I'm always asked, which is somewhat difficult to do, is how do you directly upload or attach an assignment to a Google Classroom? You know, something that's created in Keyword, for instance. How do I get that into a classroom assignment? And I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. And then I'll give you a couple of pieces of drive pointers. Now, a lot of times I'm asked, can you write this up in step-by-step instructions? The answer is yes, but, and the caveat being, if I do and when I do this, the app will change. And so whatever I do becomes nullified very quickly. I will try to make some of these into videos, but again, even with that, keep in mind, if you're watching this and it is not, you know, March 24th to 2020, what I'm going through right now might not work at all because apps change overnight for better or for worse. So please keep that in mind. The way I do something today in a third-party app might be very different a week, a month, a year from now. And that, again, is just something to keep in mind. So you won't see as many of these third-party sorts of step-by-step instructions. It comes down to problem solving. But I will show you how to do it. And if you ask, I can always relook at it if something isn't working right. So I'm on the main menu. I'm going to open Google Classroom. So I'm going to press the letter A to come to All Applications.
All applications.
Open that by pressing Enter.
Main menu, all apps.
All right, and we are going to press the letter C to come down to Classroom.
Calendar, Canvas, Chase, Chrome,
We need to go into Chase.
Classroom.
That would be crazy. Everyone could see Peter's credit cards and all sorts of wild things. But we're going to come into Classroom. I'm going to press Enter here.
Google Classroom. Peter Tuchik's Tough HumanWare class.
All right, so for those of you who've ever been in my workshops or webinars, you know that I have my Peter Tuchik's Tough HumanWare class. This is, again, I'm logged in as a student. This would be my class list if I had multiple classes here. I am logged in as a student named Ray Sullivan. He is fictitious. He does not exist, so there's no confidentiality breaches here. I'm going to press Enter on my class.
Classroom. Peter
And
Tuchik's.
now that I'm in the class, I just press backspace with Enter to mute my speech. What I'm going to do is I want to select the Classwork tab. There are 3 tabs across the bottom of your screen. They would be Stream, People, and Classwork. Actually, the order from left to right would be Stream, Classwork, People. Now, the Classwork tab is where our assignments will go. So I'm going to press the letter C.
Classwork.
And I come to my Classwork tab, and I'm going to press Enter or a cursor router key
Classwork.
to select it. And now that it's selected, I can use my previous thumb key to move up into my assignments list. The stream is also where assignments can be found. Sometimes that is where announcements live. So if a teacher is announcing work as opposed to assigning work, it might be in the stream area as opposed to in the classwork area of this app. And again, that's going to depend on your teachers. They will all do things slightly differently. But if I press my previous thumb key,
Stream, assignment,
stream.
inspirational.
We have an inspirational YouTube video. This is actually just Chicago White Sox highlights, which even is more inspiring now that there's no baseball to me. But I'm going to press my next thumb key and come down to an assignment.
Assignment, learning about sharks, no due date.
All right, and this is learning about sharks. And this is particularly as an assignment where it has a PDF attached, which can be for a whole nother time, how to access PDF documents from Classroom. But I'm going to press Enter on this assignment.
Back to classwork page button.
And we hear, as soon as I come in here, it says back to classwork page button. That's how we know we are in an assignment. Now, I have completed, let's just, again, the theory here is I've completed an assignment in Keyword. I've answered some questions or I've written something and I want to attach it and turn it in. So this is the assignment I want to attach it to. I've opened the assignment. Now, how do I attach my file that I created in Keyword and subsequently turn that assignment into my teacher? If I press my next thumb key, I will see
more options,
some other things here, more options, and the assignment name and how many points it's worth and if it's due at a certain time. But as I come down,
learning 100 points, add class comment. This contains a text
right,
PDF.
so this contains a text PDF,
attachment,
my instructions, and then I see my attachments here. Sometimes you will see what type of work is attached.
SHARKS1.pdf PDF.
This is a PDF file, which would cue me into the workflow that I would have to employ to actually access it. But if I keep coming down,
expand button. Double tap to access your work section.
all right,
button.
This is very important. This is exactly a piece of the puzzle that did not exist about 2 months ago and has now come into play. This is an expand button. If we kept moving down our screen, we would not see an add attachment option here. It would not exist because for some reason Classroom has implemented in certain assignments the expand area where we have to expand the your work section and then we can find the attach file button. So if I press enter or a cursor router key on this expand button, it then becomes
your work collapse button.
A collapse button because we could collapse that section. So I can move forward with my next thumb key down the page and I will find
your work assigned add attachment button.
An add attachment button here. And this is where I can add an attachment to my assignment. And in this case, I'm going to add that science document that I used in the first episode of HumanWare Live. We're going to attach it to this assignment. So again, we find the add attachment button, we press enter.
Attach. Drive.
And it's saying, what do you want to attach? What are you trying to attach to this assignment? Are you attaching something from Drive?
Link.
Are you attaching a link? I'm just using my next thumb key.
File.
File, which we'll come back to.
Take photo.
Do we want to take a photo and attach it? I've seen this used for when you're doing graphs and maybe something on or you're making a representation of something. You can take a picture and attach it for your teacher.
Record video.
Do we want to record a video? You can do all of these things here, but for our purposes, we want to attach a file. We want to attach a file. So I'm going to come back up to File and press Enter.
Take file.
All right.
Show roots science. Show roots.
It's
button.
interesting because now it brings us technically into key files, but this gets a little weird. We don't really know where we are. So I would always advocate for pressing the Enter if you have at the very top of your screen. If you press 1, 2, 3 with space,
top,
and you
show
have
roots
a
button.
Show Roots button like this, press Enter on it.
Menu.
And you should come to the Open With
Open from.
or Open From dialog. So again, press Enter on Show Roots because you don't always know where you are when you press Enter on File. Now that I've pressed Enter on Show Roots, I've opened From, and I can come down with my next thumb key.
Images, videos, audio, recent, downloads, BrailleNote Touch Plus,
and you will see that
41.56 gigabytes.
I'm going to mute my speech. You will see that after downloads, you have an option that says BrailleNote Touch Plus. If you are following along and you don't see this option, if you go right from downloads to SD card or downloads to something else, you need to open your context menu. So again, we open the context menu by pressing space with M. And if we do that,
pop-up window. Hide internal storage.
Now, I have an option that says hide internal storage, but we see my BrailleNote Touch Plus in that list. If you did not see your BrailleNote Touch Plus listed in that list, you would press Enter on Show Internal Storage. And then you would have your BrailleNote Touch Plus.
BrailleNote Touch Plus, 41.56.
So I'm going to press Enter on BrailleNote Touch Plus, and then I will see
BrailleNote Touch Plus.
all of my folders on my BrailleNote Touch Plus. So at this point, I'm going to move to Science or Social Studies or Documents or whatever it is I need, wherever my file is saved. And when I do that, we're going to
Science.
here's Science. I'm going to press Enter.
Science. Show roots.
All right.
Button.
And now I'm in my Science folder, and I will see the files in this folder.
Drop down. Search. List view. More option. Name.
Just moving down.
Ascending. Practice file. Docs.
Here's a practice file, and then remember from last week.
Science test December 17th.
I have, oh no, I didn't do this from last week. This is something else. Science test December 17th. These two files are in my Science folder on my BrailleNote. So I press Enter on the file I want to attach to my assignment. Let's just do the practice file. Press Enter. And it will upload this to my assignment.
Add more options. Button.
All right, and now it just put me back into my assignment.
Top.
If I use my next
Add
thumb
attachments.
key, I will see that the attachments now include
SHARKS collapse button. Your work. Assigned. Practice file. Docs file.
We see that it's here, practicefile.docs, and I will have right after it
Remove attachment. Button.
remove attachment so I can get rid of it if I accidentally attached the wrong file. Now, for all intents and purposes, I can find the turn-in, or sometimes called the hand-in button.
Add attachment. Turn in. Button.
And this is how I would get this to my teacher. I would press Enter on turn-in.
Turn in your work.
And it's
Turn
saying,
in
"Are
your
you
work?"
sure?" Right? Turn in your work, and I would say,
One attachment. Cancel.
because it's like one
Button.
attachment will be submitted,
Turn in.
and I would press
Button.
Enter on this turn-in button, and away I would go. So again, It is a process. The trick is when you originally go through and you press enter, you find that add attachment button, and then you press enter or a cursor router key on file, you have to make sure that you are showing your internal storage, or you will not see your BrailleNote Touch Plus appear in that list. Once you are showing that internal storage, then you can certainly go and find your file, press enter on it, it will upload, and you can turn it in. So this is very useful. There are many other ways to turn in information. There are ways to turn it in directly from various sources, take photos and pictures and Drive and all sorts of things. But please remember, this is a third-party app. I am more than happy to help troubleshoot these things, but you've got to do some problem solving to figure out where things are located a lot of the time, because they will move. They will move on us. So, last piece of this, I'm going to come back to the main menu.
Main menu.
And
Contacts. Key list.
I'm going to very briefly, we have about 5 minutes that I'll take to get into Google Drive and talk a little bit about finding files and also how we can share a folder, or just some basic tips on navigating Google Drive. Google Drive can be very useful because we can use it to directly share folders with our teachers, and then we can upload content right into those shared folders, which I did last week. So if you and your science teacher, or you and your TVI, or you and your brother have a shared folder, you can access that folder and then upload files right into it, and both have access right away to those shared files. Yes, you could share individual files, but I find it easier to actually work with shared folders so that everything gets nicely organized. Going to come to the main menu. I am going to turn my speech back on because I was talking. I'm going to press the letter A.
All applications.
And we're going to open all apps, and then we're going to open Drive.
Main menu, all apps. AMA's device policy.
All right, so I use first letter nav and come down to Drive.
Diction doc Drive.
And we're going to press enter.
Drive. Practice file docs.
Oh, doesn't that sound familiar? So here again, this is just some tips, because a lot of times you might not know where you are when you first load Google Drive. What you can do to quickly find where you want to be, there are a couple of things. If you press 4-6 with enter, and that is a BrailleNote command that will always move you to the bottom right corner of any third-party app. We used it last week in episode 1 of HumanWare Live when we got those suggestions when we were in the native Gmail app. But if I press 4-6 with enter,
Files.
I will come all the way down to the Files tab. There are tabs across the bottom here. Files are anything that I own, anything that I would have control over. If I press my previous thumb key and move up a tab,
Shared.
I have shared, which again would be things that have been shared with me. This used to be called shared with me. They've changed it to just shared, but that would be if my teacher had shared something with me. It's not necessarily going to go into my drive. It's going to go into the shared with me area. So I could press enter and open that up.
Starred.
And then I have starred, which again would be not so relevant now, but if you're saving things or starring things, you can get there.
Home.
And then we have home, which would be recently accessed, and there's some other pieces here. But let's just say that I come into Files. I press enter on it. Now, what I can do
Search Drive
is I can press the letter S, and you will have search options up here.
More navigation. Signed in as race. Create.
Come down.
But my drive. Computers.
And you see, again, if I move down, I have all these different options. My drive and computers.
Sort by name.
And all this
View
stuff.
as grid.
View as grid. All these different things. But if I just wanted to find
app files folder,
we see my folders here. If I wanted to find an assignment, I want to find something to do with science, right? Or I want to find chapter 2 questions or whatever it is. If I press S,
search drive,
I come up to the search drive option and I press enter.
Search drive edit box.
I can search for a file. I don't have to go sifting through files and folders if I don't want to. So I'm just going to type in science.
S-I-E.
And remember, 2-dot cursor. My cursor is both dots 7 and 8, so I can use literary braille. Type in science and press enter.
Science.
And now I press my next thumb
Clear
key.
search. Science folder. Modified Mar 19.
All right, we see I have a science folder that was modified on March 19th.
More actions for science test December 17th.
Test from December 17th or whatever it was, and I can see these individual files as well. After each file, you would then have a More Actions button.
More actions for science test December 17th.
And this is where you can manipulate the file. Do you want to move it or rename it or delete it or, cut it or whatever you might want to do would live here. If you wanted to open it, you would just press enter on the file name. And then depending on the file type, that would determine, can you edit it here? Do you have to download it? Is it a PDF? Is it a spreadsheet? What might it be? And that is all going to be determined by the type of file that you're trying to interact with. So again, you can quickly search for files. I know organization here can be pretty tricky. This takes a lot of working with to understand how your drive is laid out. Every drive is going to be different. You will determine how you create and how you share things. Now, I'm going to come into my science folder.
Science test December set more actions for science folder.
All right.
Modified
Now,
MAR 19.
Here is the science folder option. And again, remember, this would be for the folder. This folder lives in my drive. If I press enter on, if I come down to more actions,
More actions for share.
I have the ability to share this folder. So if I wanted to share this folder with, oh, I don't know, somebody, whomever, let's say we want to share it with myself, I can press enter here on share.
Add people or groups edit box.
And I can,
share.
again, just like we did when we were in the native Gmail app last week, if I type in the first few letters of someone's name, like Peter.
Contact suggestions open.
Remember, it pops up a contact suggestion, so I can then press my next thumb key to leave this edit box.
Peter.
And I will see these contact suggestions, and I can press enter on the one I want. So here's me. Never ever email me here. I will not.
Peter
Tuchik
at gmail.com.
Right. So here's my Gmail. I put it in. Now I can
editor.
Come in and say, what sort of options do I want Peter to have on this file? Can he be an editor? Can he edit information?
Add a message.
Do I want to send him
box.
a message? You know, if I wanted to say, hey, this is the folder we've been working on for weeks, and everything we upload here will be shared between us. I could do that. If I clicked on the word editor, I could change the actual sharing or modifying options I'd have, and then I just
add collaborators, more options. Add collaborators, more share.
Option that says share, and I
dismiss button top.
So we have
confirm sharing and send to
collaborators button at the bottom, and away it would go. Again, you can easily share folders. I'd strongly encourage it. If Gmail is an issue or if email is an issue, work with shared folders, and you will save yourself a lot of heartache, and you don't have to worry about physical storage. All right, overview's over. Time to open this up to firstly a poll. And then we're going to take lots of questions. I know they've been coming in. We will look at them, and we'll try to sift through. But Andrew, do you want to open this up and start the poll?
Yep.
And this poll is accessible on, I've tried it with JAWS and NVDA and VoiceOver on iOS. So you can answer these questions. And essentially, we want to know what you would like to see more of in upcoming weeks of HumanWare Live. All right, I'm going to be quiet.
Okay, so the poll is now active. So by all means, just choose which sort of applications, what would you like to learn more about? In the meantime, I will answer some questions that come in, and I have noticed that a lot of you are referring to the HumanWare Buddy application. So I just want to quickly come back to that. So the application is free. It is available on the iOS store today. Some people are having difficulties logging in. So first of all, you do need to register. If you are using dark mode, and you're typing, you will see the cursor move, but the text will not appear. So if you're confident of what you're typing, then great, continue. But if not, then just revert back to sort of daylight mode. And to do that, you can go to your settings and display, and then you'll be able to see exactly what you're typing, okay? Make sure you click on the accept terms and agreement, and then the continue button, and you should all be okay. Okay, so that's the HumanWare Buddy application, so download that. Let's go through some of the questions. Let me just have a look. Okay, so Brenda, I know that you have, maybe you're a BrailleNote Empower user. Wow, that's going back to
a blast from the past, bringing it back to bringing it back to the good old days over there.
Unfortunately, resources for the Empower were unable to put onto the new application. I guess it comes a point where we have to sort of say, okay, we can't do all this. So unfortunately, yeah, we can't. But if there's a question that you may have, and if you want to contact the tech team on that, then I'm sure they can help if it's a question. Okay. Improved methods of opening PDFs to either read without issues will turn into a Word file. This is from Byron Grosselfinger. Okay, so yeah, opening PDF. So at the moment, the way I've opened up PDFs, the way that I open up PDFs, maybe Peter, you have a different way, because there's several ways of opening up PDFs on the BrailleNote Touch. You can use the PDF conversion suite application. It's an application available on the Play Store. It will allow you to convert PDF to Word. I know, unfortunately, it does convert it to Word, but at least then you'll be able to open that within Keyword, which is the environment that that we want you to be in, because it's a more accessible, more efficient environment to be in. So that's certainly at the moment the best way of accessing PDF documents, but it is something on our roadmap. We are aware of PDFs is a big requirement, a big need for our users. So that is something that we are looking into, and I hope to share that with you maybe in due course, but I'm not going to give you any times. Okay. So that's Brian Grosselfinger. Okay. Let's get to the next one. You can sing if you want to, Peter. Okay, how do you put things in your favorite on the Buddy app? Okay, so when you go into an actual guide, so when you go to your how-to guides icon, and you'll then have the product categories, choose the product that you want to go into. If you're on the BrailleNote Touch, remember there's another level to that. So you'll click on the application that again is of interest to you. Then you'll access the guides. Open the guide up, and then on the top right of the screen, you'll have an add to favorites button. Again, if you're using VoiceOver, you can swipe left or swipe right, or if you're using your finger to place top right of the screen, the focus will move to that favorites button. Double tap on that button if you're using VoiceOver, and you'll get a prompt to saying document added to favorites.
One other, so I noticed when I was muting and unmuting and floating all around earlier, I think Megan had a question about having an instant chat feature on that support side. At this time, mainly for someone who's deafblind, we don't have the resources to do that. If somebody is deafblind and wants to get a support question in, please email that question to support@humanware.com, and that way we can ensure a text response, and that will be done in a timely manner. But there's no ability for us to have an instant messaging feature like you might have with some of your utility providers and things like that. Not at this moment. We don't have someone who can dedicate it to kind of sit there and watch for those in. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but as of right now, no, that is not an option.
Okay, so just a quick chat there to say what was the name of the PDF converter app again. So it's the PDF conversion suite. So the free version suite. Free version will allow you to, if you have 5 pages on the PDF, it will convert those 5 pages.
And
any
remember,
more than 5 pages?
It's any more than 5 pages, you would need the premium version. And the other thing is, please remember PDFs, it's very misconceiving because PDFs could be image PDFs. Those will not work in that app. That is for text PDFs. With your image PDFs, you're going to have to employ another method, be it running it through KNFB Reader, or something to actually perform optical character recognition on that PDF document. So you'll have to make sure that that's the case. Otherwise, they'll just be empty because somebody has just sent you a picture and said it's a PDF, but it's an image PDF.
Okay, Chad Hill, where is the Zoom app on the Touch?
Oh, it's in the Play Store, Chad. You're going to have to go to the Play Store and search for Zoom and download it via Google Play, just like you would download any third-party app like Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Sheets. Those things do not come on the Touch Plus. You're going to have to go in and actually download those apps from the Google Play Store. If you are using a school account, sometimes Play Store access can be restricted. So you're either going to have to use a personal account or you're going to have to get access from your administrator.
Okay, let's open up to some live talk here. So India West, I'm unmuting you. How are you? Where are you from?
San Diego.
Awesome.
Gotta love the sun. and I was just gonna ask two questions. One, do you guys have special programs for students who are interested in purchasing new Braille technology?
For special programs for...
Oh, for like college, for college students?
So if you won't, do you mean for like purchasing, or what do you mean by special
Yes.
programs, India?
Yes, for purchasing.
So what I would definitely recommend you do is contact and try to go through your state's vocational rehab agency in terms of getting equipment. There are many ways, there are different, in the States. I'm from the States, and I know in every state it will differ, but in general, your vocational, kind of your counselor and having a tech eval and setting that up can really help. There are organizations who have done things like Lions Clubs, and there are ways to have money raised, but we do offer financing, 1-year financing for sure on purchases. You're able to do that in different ways, but I would definitely recommend getting in touch with and going through your rehabilitation counselor in your voc rehab, regardless of the state you're in, to see what's available to you in terms of getting equipment.
And 2 more questions. Another one I have is, in these webinars, will you guys go over how different commands for the BrailleNote BI40?
We absolutely can. We can definitely look at, we could totally do a brilliant sort of webinar theme for sure. Looking at commands with screen readers or with iOS. Yes, we could definitely do that. We can certainly look at that.
And then do you guys have any job opportunities I could do from home for you guys?
If you go to our website, there is a careers section, and you can definitely float your resume. The work from home for us would be more on that tech support side of things. You never know what we might have and when. So I would always say float your resume into us, and we're happy to always, keep it and make sure that it's around should something open up.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you guys for all your support. I love your guys' company, and you guys have a lot to offer, and I'm just so pleased with you guys' support. Thank you so much.
That's what I'm talking about, India. Well, thank you for attending.
I've been actually
Please use the app. Yes.
I've been a customer of you guys for many years since I was in 5th grade.
That's what we're talking about. Well, thank you for being here, and we're going to do more of these every week, so come on by anytime. Anyone else, Andy?
Okay, great. So we've got about 5 minutes left. The poll is still open. There's still a number of you who haven't voted yet. So, okay, so next on the list is Glenn. Glenn, where are you from? Hello, Glenn.
Glenn, you're on. Hopefully.
Hello, Glenn.
Sorry about that. I was muted.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Where are you from, Glenn?
I'm from Winnipeg, and I'm just dabbling my feet in the water here. I'm kind of interested in looking at Braille technologies, so that's why I'm here today.
Okay. Did you have a question?
No, not specifically. Did I?
Oh.
I didn't put up my hand.
You might have raised your hand inadvertently. Well, thanks for being here. We're gonna move forward and see if anyone else has any other questions. Thanks, Glenn. Winnipeg representing, dude. We're going north, true north to the southwest.
Karina Andrews. Karina Andrews, where are you from?
Corey's here. We know Corey. Oh, Corey, you might be muted. Down in Houston.
I think it takes a while to unmute.
There we go.
Oh, there you go, Corey.
I had to unmute the thing in the bottom.
You're rocking.
Okay, I'm good. Well, my computer's already doing all sorts of things. I was late coming because it crashed.
So was Andrew.
Happened to me as well.
So
Last minute.
Just a few quick questions because, I harass Peter all the time anyway. First of all, I was able to be in the webinar that you were referring to last Thursday because I had to kind of be in the faculty meeting at the very same time, and they kind of took attendance, so I had to do that.
Sure.
And so I wanted to know, you are recording these, I think?
Yes. So
Yeah.
they're going to be on the support section of our website. There's an
Okay.
above the first product that will say HumanWare Live. They will go there. They'll also be on our Facebook page, and then they'll be in audio form as well.
And on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
On the YouTube. But I could
Which
go
you
to
can
the
access to the
website
app.
to find them.
Yes.
Or you could go to the application, the new app, you could access
That's
it through there.
that was my other question. Is like, ooh, can I go to the Buddy app?
You can.
Because I do have an iPad, so I can at least download it. I'll
There
have
you
to
go.
wait for to be able to get it downloaded for Ramon.
Sure.
Because you guys are waiting, you know, as you said, for Google to be able to,
Right, on Android.
actually do the Play Store.
Yep.
Because then I could actually put on the BrailleNote for him.
Awesome.
Here's my other question.
Yes.
On the Buddy app, would I be able to find how instruction video, whatever, on how to use the Touch Plus with Schoolology?
Not so with those third-party apps, that'd be something that I would have to do and look into, much like Classroom. I would not be making video. The other problem there, Corey, is I don't have credentials. So I'm happy to look at those apps. I know Schoology works. I've used Schoology with different users around the country, but I don't have credentials. I can't just create my own account. So I won't be making any videos on it. However, when we look at Thursday and we talk about web browsing, we talk about techniques for getting around web pages, that will all come into play when we use something like Schoology, because essentially we're going to be using the website, or we can try to use the app, but the app, I believe, you know, much like Canvas, will oftentimes use a web view. So the web browser is probably the way to go with something like Schoology, and I can definitely help give you pointers. I would just need a little bit of access or some way to look at an actual account, because again, when you dive into those worlds, every single teacher will do it a little bit differently. Every website is set up differently, so it's going to be really about problem solving and trying to find your way around.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because they've just basically kind of informed us that's kind of where they're going with distance learning right now.
Sure.
And that's all he can do and has available is that Touch Plus.
Sure.
So, I mean, it might be a matter of us doing some more.
Yeah, I would on Thursday when we talk about web browsing, I would put all that in.
Because I could give you into access to his Schoolology.
Sure, and you can email me and we can look at that, because I'd love to be able to give you pointers, and I'm always happy to help troubleshoot and problem solve where I can. But yeah, absolutely, it can certainly be done from the Touch Plus, no doubt.
Okay, good. And one last thing about the Zoom that as I said, my thing crashed, so I kind of missed the beginning of the part. I wanted to ask about the Zoom as far as you said that you can use Zoom as well as the screen sharing at the same time. So like if I'm helping him like get through some of the stuff with the Schoolology and anything else, I would be able to do like a Zoom meeting with him and, you know, look at his screen and try to help him out. Yes,
absolutely. Yes, he can share his screen to you and you can talk to him and he can talk to you through the Zoom app, or, you know, you could do a simultaneous kind of, you know, talking him through it on the phone or whatever it may be. But yes, you can absolutely do that. You can follow along.
Okay. I appreciate it. And I'll probably be in touch with you, Peter. Thank you.
Rock and roll. Thanks, Corey. Anybody else? Got time for one or two more?
Well, we've got a lot. I don't know how long you got left.
we'll do another. We'll do 10, 15 minutes or so, and then Andrew's got to eat supper. It's like, you know, 7:30 p.m. over there.
I'm okay. Okay, so will everything that Peter just showed us also just work on the Touch and not just the Touch Plus?
Incorrect. That is not true. What I'm doing here is specific to the Touch Plus. When we look at the original BrailleNote Touch, a lot of the apps are not going to be as updated as they are with the things I'm showing here. For instance, screen sharing will not work with any applications on the BrailleNote Touch, the original BrailleNote Touch, whereas it will work in many different ways on the Plus. The Google Classroom app is entirely different. Drive is entirely different, because those apps are no longer being updated or not supported. So what I've done today is specific to the BrailleNote Touch Plus. That isn't to say that we don't have users still using Drive or using Classroom. It's just that the apps are much older and will require a lot more time and patience, and then will also require some different sort of problem solving steps to find where it is you're trying to go. So if you have specific questions on the touch, I'm happy to try to you know, help you resolve those. But again, some things just will not be possible. On Thursday, when we look at the web browsing, when we look at Google Chrome, that is specific to the Touch Plus and what we've done in terms of navigating using web element commands. Those things are specific to the Plus and won't be an option on the original BrailleNote Touch.
Good, good. And that's answered, hopefully, the NDE Cook wanted to know what the advantages of the BrailleNote Touch versus the Touch Plus concerning the Google Drive. If that hasn't answered some of your questions resulting Google Drive, please email HumanWare Live.
Nan, you know how to find me too. But
Oh,
definitely,
you know.
oh yeah, definitely will be some major advantages in terms of just the layout of the app, how fast it will work, and just how much more there is. Because again, we're able to run modern apps on the Plus. So in addition to the screen sharing, it's the speed of the processor, it's apps like Chrome and Easy Reader, just how we can access books, how we can browse the web, how we're able to quickly and efficiently do all these things in the connected sort of classroom. And I'm happy to kind of break it down further if you need.
Cool. Okay, let's answer some phones.
All right.
We've got Judy. Hello, Judy. Where are you from, Judy?
Hello, how are you?
We are
Hello.
awesome.
You sound
Can you
happy.
hear me?
Oh yeah, yes
Yeah.
we can.
Great. So I have a question about if you've done any trainings on using Google Sheets, and if you did, I guess I missed them. Because some of my, I'm a teacher of the visually impaired. I have 5 students ages 6 to 12 that use the BrailleNote Touch Plus, and I myself am visually impaired, so I use one. And I'm just wondering, are there some faster ways to navigate Google Sheets than I know about?
So no, it's a great question. And so to answer the question, there are some tricks and we can definitely explore them. You definitely want to use Explore by Touch. When you're working in a Google Sheet, what I found is you would go into that sheet and you would turn your touch braille off, and you would actually use your finger on the physical screen itself to look at those columns and rows. Not swipe, but explore. Swiping is just going to move you left to right, sort of top to bottom, and you really want to, it's more about moving up and down kind of fluidly. So you would use one finger to find the cell you would like to edit, or as you use your finger, you will also feel kind of, you will read the values or hear the values in that cell. And then you would press a cursor router key to actually come in and enter information into that cell. And then once you enter the information, you would press your previous or next thumb key to leave the edit box, and there is a done button that you have to actually input that information in. I can definitely, we can walk through that. The other thing is, if you need to scroll when you're in a Google Sheet, 2 fingers up, down, left, and right will move your focus around that spreadsheet. And then you would use 1 finger to feel around your different spreadsheet, you know, your boxes, your grid, if you will. So definitely something to put in we can look at in a future webinar for sure. I haven't done anything like that yet, no.
Okay, that would be great, because I will explore what you told me, but I'm just thinking, how does a blind student or myself easily jump around? I mean, maybe they are just exploring it first and they don't even know columns and rows are even there. And
yeah, and I mean, really, you know, we are working on table navigation and actually that vertical sort of navigation. Andrew can speak to this, but it would come down to, I mean, using something like, you know, using a PC is going to teach those good spreadsheet skills. This will work, but it's not going to be the most fluid way of doing it.
Sure. Okay. Will it work if some teachers have embedded like a drop-down combo box inside of a cell?
That is a very good question. I don't think so. I can try it. I know what you're saying. Like if there's like formulas and they need to pick a value.
There might be choices and there's a combo box for them to pick a choice.
I need to look into that, Judy, because I'm not sure. I'm happy to look though. I will look and find out, because it gives us ideas not only for future topics, but what do we need to be looking at doing. So that's great.
Thank you.
I'm not sure right now though.
Do you have Judy's email address, Peter?
No, I'm
Judy, do you want to just send an email to HumanWare Live and just and we can respond?
If you reach out
When
to
I-
HumanWare
when I-
Live, we can definitely, get
Okay,
back.
because when I signed up for this this webinar, I had to input that in, but I guess if you guys don't have access to that, I don't know where that information went. You know what I mean?
No, you shouldn't need to
We don't
register
put
for
any
the webinar.
registrations for these webinars.
Well, that's
Just need to
interesting
sign
because
in.
when I went in through Zoom, they had me enter my username
That's
and
your
my
Zoom
email.
account, Judy.
Oh, I see. Got
Yep,
it.
that's a
Okay.
Zoom account. Yep.
No problem. Thank
No
you.
problem. So email HumanWare Live at humanware.com, and we can
Okay.
then get a sense of being able to come back to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do 2 more.
Okay, in the meantime, I'm just going to quickly answer this question. Does the Touch Plus work with Desmos app? Well, Desmos app, the BrailleNote Touch supports Desmos in key math. So if you go to all applications and then press the letter K for key math, you'll be in a math environment where you'll be able to enter in Nemeth and UEB. And that supports Desmos. So you'll be able to interact with graph creations. And this goes on from the poll. I think from the poll, just to let you know, Peter, it seems like they all want to work with math.
All right, game on.
64%. Okay, so that's going to be an
64%
interesting
math.
webinar.
It is. We will do creating and editing and just talk about key math in depth for sure.
Okay, next one is Darren Dyson. Darren Dyson?
Yep.
Darren Dyson. Do you know Darren?
Darren, Mr. California.
Hello, Darren.
Darren's
Are
coming.
you there?
Darren, you might be muted, our friend.
There we go. He's unmuted. Hi, Darren. Nope.
Nope, not.
Okay, well, let's quickly move on to, if you then want to email that HumanWare Live at humanware.com, please do. Okay, Wendy Pallant. Wendy Pallant. Where are you from, Wendy?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Hello. Hi, Wendy. That's a
Hi.
British accent.
It is. I'm in I'm in Preston, near Manchester, in the
Okay.
UK.
Okay, great.
I haven't really got a question. I've got a plea. That obviously, because of the financial situation and also the learning demand, particularly for students that are VR with additional needs, they're not always using the most up-to-date technology. So I have a student that's still using an Apex, and we have students still using the Touch rather than Touch Plus. On the Buddy app, it would be so useful to actually be able to look at some of that older technology. Because
I guess, it goes into some of the questions before. I mean, the Apex and the Empower, I mean, if we look at the Touch where we are today, I mean, there are some things that do still apply to the Apex in terms of the commands. So, creating a document or navigating a document is very similar. Those shares the same commands. We do have the resources for Apexes. I can confirm that. If you'd like, we can certainly send you all those resources. Putting it onto the application may be a bit more of a challenge, but we can certainly send that to you if you like, Wendy.
That would be helpful.
All of the sort of step-by-step guides.
Yeah. My other question was about embossers, because I've been lent from a Braille class I go to an Apex, a BrailleNote Apex, and I have an Index 1 and Index 3, and it says that it's backwards compatible, but I just can't get them to work. So
Is this for the Apex?
With an Apex, yeah.
Yeah, you will need to have a unique cable, an index cable. I don't know if you've got one of those. It was a cable that was sort of slightly twisted inside that allow it to communicate. If I remember rightly, I mean,
is that the cables to go thing or something, Andy?
Is that what you'd call them in the States?
Not sure
But they were very hard to come by. But have you contacted the team in the UK, Wendy?
I have, but they are the people that I spoke to. I've spoken to a couple of people, but they only really know about the 5. They don't really know about the older ones. So we're having difficulty connecting older technology.
Yeah, I know the older embossers of the Index, they did need a special cable. If I remember rightly as well, that some of the indexes that you mentioned may be just parallel cable. Is that right? Is that like it might be worth, again, it's a difficult one because it's challenging to get some of these parts for the older embossers. And I know that you need this special cable. What I would recommend, Wendy, at this stage, because I want to help you, is if you email me or email the HumanWare Live, and I can direct you into the right place, I can recommend. We can communicate through that. Is that okay, Wendy? Or I can try and help you out there.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and
one more.
Should we have one more?
One more question.
Okay, Isaac. Isaac, hello, and where are you from?
Hello?
Hello.
Rock and roll, Isaac.
My question is about the Z Machine interpreter. The game player that the Apex used to have.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
absolutely.
I was a bit. I was what's that?
I gotcha. Yeah.
Now we know. Yeah.
So I was wondering if that would be hitting the touch, like as an optional application or.
Yeah, so there's an application. So the question is about about playing Z5 games, or the old text adventure style games, on
I love those.
the BrailleNote Touch or Touch Plus. Now, again, please keep in mind, this is not something that it's not a HumanWare sort of supported thing. It would be done through a third-party app, in that there's an app called Text Fiction that we can get you the link to, but Text Fiction is what you would have to use to play those apps. I will say, Andrew and I were on an airplane from Las Vegas to San Francisco once, and we played Bears Night Out just because we were so fascinated that we got it to work. So it does work, but it's not something that HumanWare or HumanWare Tech Support is going to help you with, but they will work. You will want to use an app called Text Fiction, and you can certainly problem solve your way through getting those games to work. Yes. If you need the direct link, email us at humanwarelive@humanware.com, and we can get you that link to the Text Fiction app.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Well, we know that there are lots of questions. I know there are probably many more questions out there. Definitely, we're happy to get to them. If you can email humanwarelive@humanware.com, we'll do our best to respond. If you have suggestions for what you would like to see in upcoming webinars, please send us feedback. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And remember, we're back on Thursday. The topics on Thursday are going to be working with Chrome, so some web browsing methods, working with non-editable text will be covered, as well as formatting documents in keywords, so you're centering and right a left align and things like that. Also identifying font attributes. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody noon Eastern on Thursday, and then we will announce the schedule for next week's webinars over the weekend on Monday. So keep that in mind, and we look forward to seeing everybody next time on HumanWare Live.
Awesome. Have fun, everyone. Stay safe. Goodbye.